Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Elizabeth and I'm coming to you from Sedona, Arizona. Today is July 25th, 2020, and I wanted to do a special reading slash talk for everyone today to open up some dialogue about something that has been sort of marinating in my heart space for a while. And this morning I was drawn to my Isis Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild, and usually I'll pull some messages in the morning, and so today Isis really wanted to come in and speak. And I'm so glad that she did, because I feel like I'm finally in a place where I feel clear enough and centered enough to dive into this topic. And the messages that came out were two messages to start, and then the third message was what was at the bottom of the deck. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm excited to have you here, and I hope that you enjoy this. And for those of you who have been watching my videos, welcome back, and hopefully this is something that will be interesting for you and perhaps open up, you know, like I said, a dialogue, but also, I don't know, just help us all along this journey, because this is a journey that we are all on collectively. So this is going to be a reading for the collective, and it's also about the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine. So this is not a twin flame reading. This is not a love reading, but at the same time it is. It's like you can't really separate the two. We're going to be talking about the sacred masculine, sacred feminine, divine masculine, divine feminine within ourselves, within the collective, within the paradigm that we've been living in, and how it's evolving and what it's going through. So sort of like an energy update. I guess that's what this is an energy update. And I'm just realizing I've been burning dragon's blood all day, pretty much, just kind of preparing for this energy after clearing the space. Like I did a massive clearing of this space today. Another energy that's here is definitely the dragons, and as well as the energy of Gaia herself, and Metatron, and Isis, of course. So, all right, let me just ground and we'll get started with this. So recently there has been a lot bubbling up, coming up, being exposed, regarding some of the behaviors and atrocities of some of the masculine. And this video in no way, shape, or form is here to shame anyone, first and foremost. That is not what this is about. This is about healing, and this is about understanding, and this is about coming together, first and foremost. But obviously, you know, for many years, I think that the feminine has wanted to rise, to come into a place of spiritual authority and authority in the physical world, because they're connected. But most recently, what really got my attention was within the spiritual community. There is a band and a singer that many of us have followed and have been fans of for a long time, and that is Nahko, Nahko Bear, Nahko Medicine for the People. And so kind of out of nowhere, for many of us, there wasn't any awareness around this, what had been going on with this man and inside of his career and his personal life. There really wasn't an awareness of what was going on for many of us. Now for others, it seems that there was an awareness. And so without getting into any detail, I will just say that it hit home. So for so long, you know, we've been hearing about the rising of the Me Too movement, things in Hollywood, things in politics, in big corporations, you know, just the the clearing, the exposure, and then the clearing of a lot of this energy. It's like a justice energy, like justice really wants to be served. But in order for that to happen, the shadow needs to be exposed. The toxicity needs to be exposed. The injustice needs to be exposed. And that's what we've seen happening collectively. And this is a good thing. It's painful, and it triggers so much, but it's so necessary. So what made me really want to speak out about this and just, do something was the Nahko allegations. I've been a huge fan, of his since 2012. Didn't go to a whole lot of shows, but I've seen him a handful of times. Had a really great time, at all of the shows. And also just the music, it has such a healing energy. It's conscious music. It had a message. For me personally, I'm gonna speak for myself personally. It helped me through so much. It inspired me, and it still does. But that being said, when the allegations started coming out against Nahko from many women, young women, so it seems like the age group was 18 years old, 19 years old, 20, 21, 22, the maiden, the energy of the maiden, that was the sort of age group of women who were coming forward to talk about their experiences with Nahko. And there were a lot of them speaking out all over social media. And so as an observer and as someone who likes to really sit with information, that's what I did. I observed, I collected as much data as I could, all the while, trying to process my own emotions around it, and really just sitting with it. And so that's really what I've been doing. Now, this isn't about a video about Nahko. This is bigger than that, because at the same time, there were allegations around an astrologer who has built quite a big community, astrology community, and again is someone that I've admired for several years now, and sort of looked up to as a teacher, and really thought, like, with the two of them, just specifically Nahko and then this other individual, like, this is the new paradigm of men. This is that divine masculine. So there's just so much to say about all of this. Firstly, that it shows the humanness behind these individuals, and it shows also that no community is safe from this shadow being unveiled, uncovered. No community is safe. The shadow has nowhere to hide anymore. And we've been saying this, coming into 2020, we've been saying this for several years, like there's just going to be this eruption of shadow that's going to be brought to light and really come out. And again, no community is safe. There's nowhere for the shadow to hide. And so this is what we're seeing happening. And when it hit so close to home for me, personally, it wasn't just a politician or, some celebrity, let's just say. It was in my own community, the spiritual community. And some people may say, well, spiritual gurus have been, mistreating women for years. Rock stars, that's what they do. It's like, okay, this whole, boys will be boys, or this is just the way that it is. It's rock and roll. It's, it's that guru God complex. And yes, you're right. You're right. But that being said, we are birthing a new world. And that's one of the cards essentially that came out. We're birthing a new world. We are stepping into a new paradigm. to a new model, you know? So it's not just boys will be boys, or this is just the way that it is, or it's rock and roll, or, you know, women do that too. Yes, you're right. But also, this is the time where we have the ability to change it and to work with it and to heal it and to really look at it. And so just getting into these cards that came out, the first one was the Queen of Heaven. So blessings from the Divine Empress of the Skies. So what this card says, and you can see Isis here, Goddess Isis, is that the feminine, and let's just say this, the feminine and the masculine reside within all of us. I have a divine feminine and a divine masculine within me. You have the same. So this is not gender specific, this is energy. So the divine feminine within you, the divine feminine within me, the divine feminine within all of us is being initiated right now and called to step up and lead. And we're already seeing this, the rise of the goddess, the rise of the feminine, wanting to come in, right? Women wanting to have a voice, women like demanding that their voices be heard. The exposure of all of the hurt and the pain and the wounding of the feminine. This includes Mother Earth, so think about it from that level too. Wants to be, it is being initiated into authority, into a place of authority. This card speaks to authority. Now, as women coming into leadership roles, and more so spiritual leadership roles, what does that look like in a healthy feminine? In a healthy feminine, it is power, okay? Power that is tempered by compassion and mercy and wisdom. So this is all in a perfect world, right? Because what we're seeing is some of that, yes. Because remember, everything is a spectrum. So I'm looking at the whole spectrum, like again, as an observer. And we're seeing the power now that, let's say, some of these victims are feeling, and it is not tempered by mercy, and their power is not tempered by compassion. Although I feel that the wisdom is kind of just there bubbling. So this idea that we are all being called to step into a place of authority that's tempered with mercy and compassion and softness and wisdom is really big. It's really big. It is talking about the wounding of the feminine, and again, that's the feminine within all of us. But if you are actually a female, then you may just be able to feel the energies a little bit easier than if you are someone who is in a male body. You may have to really feel into that. And it's also asking us to examine what our relationship is to authority as well. So where we have felt that we were not heard, where we have felt that we were not honored, where we have felt that we were not protected by those in authority. And now you may say, well, what is this musician? What is his authority? Or this astrologer, what is his authority? Well, their authority was that they were seen as teachers and leaders within the community. So there was an authority there. And especially when these individuals seem to be targeting women who are much younger, meaning that they may not have the wisdom to know any better, and their feminine may have already experienced wounding, making them more vulnerable. So the fact that this card is speaking to our relationship to the authority figures, the authority that we have been exposed to throughout our life, throughout the history of the world that we know of, it speaks volumes that this is speaking about authority. Okay, so let's move on to the next card, and then I'll see if anything comes up with that. Oh, okay, I know the other part of this. So, going back to the authority, where we have not felt like our voice mattered, where we have not felt safe, where we have not felt protected. Mama Earth, Mother Earth, nature, the animals, where it has not felt protected, safe, honored by the paradigm that has been ruling the world. Okay, so it goes back to the earth, and it goes back to us as individuals, and it goes back to us collectively, because it's all one and the same. So meaning the traumas of the collective affect us individually. So if you are someone, a male or female, who said, you know, I had a blessed childhood, both of my parents really were amazing. Yeah, I may have had some bad teachers here and there, a few things happened to me, but as you know, as a whole, I was able to really speak my truth. I felt safe, I felt protected. I had a very beautiful father who nurtured and loved and was very much in touch with his feminine side. So even if you are in that sort of camp, just know that you still feel and experience the wounding of the collective, as well as inside of your own ancestry and bloodline, and all of that. And that's why I pulled out this big piece of petrified wood that I purchased. I did not steal it from the petrified forest. I purchased it there because I wanted to bring in healing, ancestral healing, and maybe be able to speak more to the bloodline wounding and things like that. Okay, so the next card that came out was Rising Sun, the divine solar child reborn. And so this is the mother, obviously, okay, and being born again and birthing something new. And I'll just show you this beautiful, beautiful card. We would say this is Isis, and she is breastfeeding Horus, her son Horus. So this is the mother energy. And this is a card of the end of a struggle and the end of the darkness and the birthing of a new life. And I really feel, again, going back to this idea that there's a spectrum, that some of us, and collectively, there is still the being in the midst of the struggle, feeling like the struggle is still very real. Every day there's more and more and more shadow being exposed. And this is even going back to the children. And a lot of you know what I'm talking about with the children. And everything that is being exposed collectively regarding child trafficking, regarding how deep the rabbit hole goes. And for those of us who have sort of had this in our awareness for a long time, to see the collective waking up to this is both exciting and also heart-wrenching at the same time. So we are still in this struggle, and we are still in part of that dark night, and we are preparing to birth the new. And the way showers, the ones who are sort of there to hold space while the collective is going through what they're going through, there are way showers who are sort of, have one foot in sort of the 3D, and their other foot is planted in the 5D. And so what I'm trying to say is it's a spectrum, but more so that the birthing of the new, it's already here, because this is not a linear journey that humanity is on. This is a quantum journey that humanity is on. So if this is the, let's say, the plane of existence where the shadow is being exposed, then right above it, right here, is where the new dawn is and the new earth is, you know, and at times they touch, and at other times they feel more separated and more polarized. So it's there. And this is speaking to healing inside of the cosmic womb, the womb of the mother. So I also see this as humanity being in a global lockdown, to where a lot of people are still sort of staying close to home. Life has not resumed back to normal, and it never will. And so there is a going within, and within ourselves, but also within the womb of the cosmic mother, of the goddess, the mother, being able to go into that womb and prepare to be birthed again. So I hope that this is making some sense. So these two cards came out, and I didn't get this whole download. I thought, oh, this is beautiful. And then, as always, I looked at the bottom of the deck, and that's when I realized what this reading was about. And so at the bottom of the deck was the healing of the divine masculine. Osiris rises. So we have Isis. We have Horus, the child. And we have the divine masculine, Osiris, and the healing of the divine masculine. And so what I want to say is that there is no feminine spiritual authority when the masculine is not healed. They have to work in tandem together. They have to happen together. Now, not necessarily at the same speed or at exactly the same time for everything, but that women's empowerment is nothing if men are disempowered. So there is this line, this tightrope I'm seeing that we are walking as feminines embodied, divine feminine embodied. You could be masculine and be divine feminine embodied, and really in touch with the goddess, really in touch with the mother. We have to work together on this. That's why I said this is not to shame. Now, absolutely, we are allowed to expose, bring truth to light, and And really, whatever comes with that, we are allowed to do. Each of us will process it in a different way, and each of us will react in a different way, and each of us will sort of hold space in a different way. So because of all of this wounding within the feminine, there is a wounding within the masculine, and it's like, a which came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. Do you know? I don't really know. I believe personally that these were sort of these were wounds that happened simultaneously because of what humanity went through, descending into the third dimension. And there was this split, and there was a separation between us and God. But I can say that right now, the masculine wounding is being exposed at an all-time high. And what does that wounding look like? Well, obviously, it is a misuse of power. And it is where there isn't honoring of the feminine. There isn't protecting of the feminine. There is a sense of manipulation, control, even violence and aggression. All of those things. We're seeing it play out across every single aspect of our society. And many will say this is nothing new. This has been going on for decades, from the 1940s to the 1950s, even prior to that. Yes, you're right. But this is the year 2020, and we are ushering in a new world, a divine golden era of light on earth, the ascension and the evolution of humanity. So, I want to pull some cards. You know, these cards came out, and I feel like I'm now at a wall, right? And so I want to pull some cards. So we're going to leave these three cards out. Like I said, I had pulled these this morning from the Isis Oracle deck. So I think we'll start with The Art of Love Tarot by Tony Carmine Salerno, and we'll just take it from there. And again, I hope that like some of you are following, and that this is even interesting to some of you. And so just to touch on with relationships, I do believe that we are seeing more of this as well within, you know, just male-female relationships, male-male, female-female. It's not about sexual preference, but that we are seeing this where there is this sort of empathic nurturer, you know, someone, one in the relationship who is deeply in integrity on a spiritual path, and then you have the person that comes in and pretends that they're all of those things, and then you come to find out that that is not the case, that that person is a liar, you know, that they're toxic, that they're, you know, that sort of energy vampire, narcissist, codependent, that axis. So that is so prevalent. And so even speaking to relationships and how that relates, where there is, you know, this toxicity within relationships, and it's sort of just become almost either expected, and in some cases, well, that's just the way it is, right? And so I really do believe that those sort of relationships are mirrors of what is happening on a bigger scale in society. We're seeing it, you know, on all levels. So again, just going back to this, there's nowhere for the shadow to hide. And it is being exposed for you watching. If you've been in a relationship like this, a lot of truths are coming out, and you may be at a crossroads where you're figuring out what to do with a partner, or you've already left that type of a relationship because you saw it for what it is. It was, you know, a farce. It was a lie. It was not, and there we go. There's the devil. And the Ace of Wands, a new start. So I do think that a lot of people are on a new journey within themselves to finding healthier relationships, to where both parties are embodying this sacred masculine, sacred feminine, or at least really intentionally working towards it. That there is respect, honesty, integrity, you know, all of those things within a relationship, a friendship, a business partnership. And that the people who just aren't there, the ones that just aren't there, and they are still on this path of manipulation, control, shadow, addiction, you know, all of that, you know, I guess my question is, what happens to them? You know, there is a sense of sort of needing to take a step back and allow for them to just walk their path, that's part of their soul's journey, and not imposing our free will upon them that they have to change because we said so. And that is, like I was saying earlier, this is not a place for shame. This is a place for honoring where each soul is at on their path, but still being able to put a boundary up and say, I do not accept that. That is not my truth. And, you know, that energy is not welcome into my space anymore. So it's very complex. And there are as many facets to this as there are facets to, you know, a cosmic diamond, if you will. And so I just really wanted to explore these energies a little bit. So let's get some cards here. And I think what we will do is just see what wants to come out from Isis, and like we'll call on Isis and we'll call on Osiris. I think that's what we'll do. And then as the bridge, we will call on Horus. How does that sound? The bridge between the two, sort of what they're birthing. And we'll just see what these energies want to say. One more time. The moon with perseverance. Yes, you know, the shadow, everything that's been sort of an illusion, the light is being shown on all of it. There's nowhere left for that shadow to hide. And Nine of Wands, Nine of Stars, perseverance, like we're exhausted, right? There's this sense of almost like, can I make it through this? Can we go on? What more are we going to uncover? What more is going to come out? And I've been saying this for a long time, our heroes are going to fall. And so I think part of the bigger message is that our heroes are falling. And it is time, part of this paradigm shift is that heroes will sort of be a thing of the past. we will be our own heroes. Okay, so I think I'm going to break this into 3 piles. So here we're going to have the energy of Isis. Here we're going to have the energy of Osiris. And here we will have the energy of Horus. I'm going to put these down here so that you can see. And let's just get a few cards for each and see where this goes. Whoa, okay. We're going to put these all the way down here. Okay, so first card out from Isis. 3 of Stars, 3 of Wands, Visions. Yes, this is what I was saying about the birthing of the new. It's like we're still in the struggle, but we can see the light coming in. It's still at a distance, but we know it's coming. We know it's coming. It's also, you know, the number 3 being a number of the Empress. Okay, so it's her also, Isis's way of saying, you know, I'm gonna pull out a 3 so that you know it's Empress energy. This is the energy of the Empress, of Isis. And 3 being that Holy Trinity, you know, the man and the woman and the child, right? That they birth, the Holy Trinity, the Shiva and the Shakti and the child, or God being the 3rd party. So and here we see the 3 the 3 lights, the 3 suns, and this is the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and the 3rd would be what is birthed from that, from those 2 great lights that are completely reliant upon each other. And this is the bigger message, is that as the feminine heals, the masculine must heal too. And to some degree, it has to be done together. There is a personal responsibility, and we have to not only heal, like for me, I have to heal, you know, the feminine within myself as well as the masculine, both of the energies that I carry within me. And so we see when the 2 are in balance, when the 2 are in their highest form, they are pure light. And the 3rd is what is being birthed from this union, this sacred union. And for me, personally, it is a new world. It's a new era. It's a new age when they come together like that. So let's see what else from the masculine. Wow. You know, this kind of says it all. The Knight of Hearts, Knight of Cups, romance. Yes, it has been about the chase for the masculine for so long. He has to be the knight in shining armor. He has to come, you know, on a white horse. This has been the expectation that has been put upon the masculine for a long time. That, okay, you know, and notice how it's not a king, right? That they have just, it's been about the pursuit, chasing after something, pursuing something. That this has been sort of what has been expected of them, what the expectations that society has put on them, and that's part of their wounding. That's part of their wounding. Now the Knight of Cups, like I see him, you know, as someone who has good intentions but isn't always able to deliver, to make good on all of his promises. And that again is speaking to like his level of of mastery, and that they sort of fell off the horse, if that makes sense. Subconscious, on a subconscious level, where chivalry died in a lot of ways. And it is really speaking to the wound that's in the masculine, though. I really feel that. And it's making me feel sort of sad for them, like that's what it was all about, you know? That it's just been about the romance, that it's just been about the, like, that the female, the feminine has just wanted to be chased and wined and dined, and that it felt very robotic for them, and a lot of them just stopped doing it altogether. Let's see what else. The middle energy from the child, 9 of Pentacles, refinement. It's about doing the work. You know, it's about really doing the work, being independent. So refining that the feminine and the masculine really needed to work on themselves individually, separately, again knowing that there really is no separation, that is just an illusion, that the feminine and the masculine is always together, that it's part of the same whole, but needing to refine themselves in the physical. So it is about like having mastery over the things in the physical, and even our own bodies, coming into like sovereignty over our own vessel, taking care of ourselves, nurturing ourselves, and working hard to be independent of each other, so that the feminine doesn't need to be rescued, and so that the masculine doesn't need to rescue. Because if he's a knight, knights often come to the rescue. A king doesn't need to rescue anyone because he is sitting on his throne ruling. He will make sure that everyone in the kingdom is safe and protected, and, you know, has opportunities for abundance. But the knights are the ones that go and rescue. And also with the feminine energy of the 3 of Stars coming up with the title of Visions, I think it's also about the vision of what we perceived the masculine to have to be for us, and about changing that vision, refining that vision of what we need the masculine to be for us. If we want to come into a place where everyone is empowered, that's making any sense. Let's see what else comes up. For the feminine, 9 of Angels, Guardian. For the masculine, wow, Death. This is interesting. So for the feminine, it was where we felt as though the feminine energy feeling like she was not protected by the masculine energy, that she was not safe. The feminine has not felt safe in a long time, collectively. Persecuted would be the word. Objectified, and that to where the feminine had to had a sort of spiritual awakening for that reason, because the masculine was no longer an energy that felt safe. that the feminine had an awakening to what would protect her, where she would feel safe. Like she had been, the collective feminine had sort of been burned. You can see this sort of fire in the heart there. And the masculine, it's a metamorphosis. It's a death. That's the death card that came up. This whole idea of him being a knight, having to come in with the romance, right? Even if he didn't mean it. And this is where I think that the masculine has sort of like really fallen off the track and are just romancing as many women as they want to without any regard for the feelings of each individual woman, human, sister or brother. Death, the energy of death, of complete and total metamorphosis, that something's got to die. It's a death of the ego. It's a deep inner change, and it takes time. It's a slow process. This isn't the tower that came in, you know. This isn't judgment coming in. This is the slower process of death, of decay, the decay of what the masculine had sort of turned into. And for the feminine, it was a lot of fear and almost and victimhood. And victimhood, where like, you see this angelic is coming in to protect her. It's a feeling of victimhood, of disempowerment, and of just wanting to be held as sacred again. Okay, and then the middle energy, the Eight of Pentacles. Wow, so this is what I was saying about doing the work. Because now from this third energy, this bridge between the two, we are bridged in the physical because these are both trees. So the bridge really is in the physical. It's in the 3D. The bridge isn't somewhere far out there. The bridge is here in the physical. It's so interesting. And the 8 is where it's karmic. These are soul lessons that we're moving through. Collectively, humanity is moving through this giant soul lesson that's taken thousands of years, and ultimately it's leading to a refinement, you know, so that we can birth the new, Let's get one more for each of them, and then we'll flip them over and see what was at the bottom of the deck. So for the feminine, the past, the feminine is going to have a lot of work to do around forgiveness. Because right now, like I said, there's a spectrum. There are the women who are seeing all of this, you know, and men too, okay, who are seeing all of this shadow come up to the surface, truths being unveiled, the veil is being ripped off, there's nowhere for anything to hide anymore. And the feminines, a lot of them are angry, and it is righteous anger. But how do we transmute it into something that is going to help usher in the new? Okay, so the feminines really are going to have to work on forgiveness. I love this card so much. All this pink, unconditional love. This is all making peace with the past and healing wounds, core wounding from childhood. It's also, can even be like, it's healing. This is healing. So it is about her healing. And for the masculine, Two of Wands, boldness. Boldness. He's gonna have to be bold. It's like he has the two torches, and one of them is the old way, and it's clinging to it. This is the way it's always been. I didn't really do anything. These girls were interested in me. It's that mentality. You know, they all wanted to hang out with me too. It was consensual. They knew I had a wife. They knew this. It's not taking accountability, even though they may say like, look, I know like it was wrong, and like, you know, I should have been honest or whatever, and I'm sorry, but it's that half-ass kind of apology. It's not really taking the accountability to say, this is not the way an enlightened man would really behave. This is the old paradigm. This is what we're looking to transcend. There's an element of transcendence here. And so it is picking that one, picking the one that's just full of accountability. It's not shame, okay? Because with the Six of Stars coming in, it is that the feminine wants peace, that she has to come from a place of wanting peace and holding the space while he finds the courage to choose the path that ultimately leads to transcendence, to transcending this worn out, tired, done with it paradigm, matrix, control system. It's through the love. It's through the love. And here I love how these two stars or two wands are both women. How do you want to see women? How do you see women? How are you going to see women? Can you see us as real life beings and not just a person on the other end of a screen or a text message or a fan out in the audience or a student coming to one of your classes, or, you know, on a more deeply personal level, or just as your girlfriend, one of many girlfriends, let's just say. And it is about the sisters coming together and supporting each other. So there's that element of it too, where women have to take accountability and come into a deeper state of sisterhood. And then the third energy, wow, we're going backwards. Okay. 7 of Trees now, coming out of this union of the masculine and feminine, this union of the new earth, the new paradigm, whatever you want to call it, the new age, is now the 7 of Trees. Contemplation. Look at that light coming through the trees. It's one of my favorite things to do, is stand amongst the trees and look for where the light comes through them and sort of bathe in that. Like the light that's coming through the forest, it feels like it's being filtered through life, you know? Like the light has been filtered through the life of the earth, through the lungs of the earth, through the magic of the earth, and then when the light reaches you, it's penetrated through all of these trees, and you're kind of getting layers and layers of light. It's interesting. But this is so interesting, is that we started with the 9, and then it went to the 8, and then it went to the 7 as if it's going backwards. This union of the masculine and the feminine in a higher form, in a higher state of awareness and consciousness, that their union would go from a 9 to an 8 to a 7. And the message I'm getting is that it is a return to purity. It's like expansion of consciousness, and that consciousness, that expanded consciousness and union of the two energies sort of manifests itself physically to rewind the clock to where we are in a pure state again. Wow. It's really interesting, you guys. The 9 and the 8 and the 7. It's not 7, 8, 9. It was 9, 8, 7. And again, this element of non-linear time, that this has already happened, that it's where the past and the future and the present just become one, and we're met at the 0 point. So is it like, are we going back to 0 and 0 and 0? And underneath that is the Knight of Trees. So now here's the Knight of Pentacles, and just look at the image. This is all happening in the physical. This is supposed to happen here on Earth, on Gaia, in the 3D, elevating to the 4D and the 5D. So that's why the birthing of these two energies is all pentacles. I said, well, let me just check and see, you know, pentacles, trees, the physical, the things you can see, feel, and touch, things in the physical. And here's the Knight. It is this sort of Christed energy. It is a Christed energy, totally in alignment. This is the awakened man. But he really is. He doesn't just sing about it, and he doesn't just talk about it. He actually is, to the point where he cannot intentionally harm the feminine ever again. He can't even fathom what that would be like. Wow. Let's see what was at the bottom of the deck for the feminine. 5 of Angels. 5 of Swords. Withdraw. Yes. You know, the feminine has been through every egoic defense of the masculine. That energy of this toxic masculinity that has to win at all costs. It's the toxic Knight of Hearts. It's the toxic Knight of Cups that will woo and say all the right things, and, you know, but it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. And underneath the masculine is the Queen of Wands. You know, there's the feminine underneath there. She's still there. Illuminator. Leo season, Aries season, you know, this is fire energy. On the bottom of the pack for the males, for the men, for the masculine is the Queen of Stars. There is a desire to be illuminated. This is a cage for him. This has been his cage. I find it interesting that there are eyes on the wings. And I'm reading really trying to do this reading intuitively, because that's why I pulled this deck. I'm not sure that if you saw an angel, they would have physical eyes on their wings. They wouldn't need them. The angels already can see. They have insight, and they have divine insight from God. And it's interesting that this knight has these eyes on his wings, because it's almost like the divine wants to give him sight, wants to give him that sight. The support is there. You know, he just chose not to see it. He didn't want, you know, to see the feminine as sacred anymore. And even if he did, the temptation, you see the temptation here in this death card, it has a very devil energy about it. You know, this card, this death card, it's super connected into the devil. And the temptation, I think that this was all about temptation for the masculine. Just totally giving into the temptations of the control and the power over the feminine. And the feminine sort of withdrew. She withdrew her own power even for a long time. And bottom of the deck for the two energies combined, there you go. There's the message from Spirit. Like I was saying, that perseverance, I saw it. You know, we may not be here yet, that in your neck of the woods, or that you're seeing, because it's all about what's in your own awareness. So maybe for you, you're like, I'm at the birth of this dawn. But if you're not, if you're feeling all of the shadow energy, if you're feeling the pull of this energy, and you're having to work through it, persevere. You know, this is where we can feel really like wounded. This is the wounded warrior. She's crying blood. It's her blood, sweat, and tears. His blood, sweat, and tears. This is the merging of the two energies. Remember, both are crying on the inside. The masculine is crying on the inside. Remember, going back to this Queen of Heaven, this feminine spiritual authority being rooted in power that is tempered by compassion and mercy and wisdom. The masculines have been crying inside for a long time. They want to be set free. And so that's why the shadow, that's why everything is being exposed. That's really important. It's like the subconscious energy of the masculine wants to be exposed. They want to be called out subconsciously, because they want this all to be cleared and just done with and over with. I feel that they really want to heal. Now, when we get into the energies of the children and what's happening with the children on Gaia and what has been happening, that is not a part of this reading. I will say that, because that is a totally different conversation that I'm not even prepared to deliver any message on that. Anyway, okay. I was really feeling that the dragons wanted to say something today. I was really feeling that the dragon energies, the dragons, are here to support humanity as we move through this this time, you know, as we just move through all of this. So let's just see what dragons want to come out to support. It is a choice, though. It is a choice for them. Are they going to die to the old? Are they going to die to it? It's a choice. The twos are choices. You know, he can be this knight. Keep dealing with that energy of what it is to have to be a knight for all of eternity. I'm joking, it's not all of eternity. Or he can step into this. Which one? It's a choice, you know, and in some ways there is no choice. This is where humanity is going. You either get on the train or you're going to be left at the station, and another train might come around in a few hundred years. So, yeah. Okay. First dragon out is the Omega, and I was going to say for the feminine, the Omega dragon. Harness the divine feminine power of creation. Hold your vision, intention, birth the higher consciousness. The Omega dragon of the divine feminine. Hold the vision. Hold the vision. Persevere. Hold the vision. The females are, look, she's holding the vision here. You see the pentacle over her third eye chakra. Visions, 3 of stars, visions, hold the vision. For those of you working on your divine feminine, working on your sacred feminine, for those of you who are embodying a feminine, hold the vision. Don't give up. Do not lose hope right now. Don't give up, you know. Birth the higher consciousness. Look at this, you guys. Birth the higher consciousness, and that's what we're doing. So, okay, feminines, and for the masculine, I love this. I love this pink energy around him. The dusty pink dragon from Andromeda, beautiful, prepares all your chakras to embody higher love. Accept and radiate higher love. Touch others with its flame. Now, this is so beautiful. First, I'll just let you look at this incredible dragon that's coming in for the masculine. Now, the first thing that you notice is how feminine it is. So I feel like on the astral, in the other realms, it is the female dragons that are embodying feminine energy, divine feminine energy, that are coming in to support the masculine. Look at that. Preparing all the chakras, they are being rebalanced, right? They are receiving energetic clearings. The ones that are willing and able, for willing hearts. This is still free will. That's why I said you can get on the train or you can be left at the station, and another train might come along in another few hundred years. So I really want to make that clear that there are some that are just going to stay in that lower paradigm of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Let's just say it. And that's fine. We're not here to convince anybody. We can plant the seeds though, and we can encourage, but there's free will. So I just want to make that clear. And that's fine. There's no judgment, okay? For real. But look at this energy of the feminine coming in to support the masculine with music, with love, and it's just so beautiful. Yeah, it's to help, it's preparing them to embody this higher love, that the feminines are really yearning for, the higher love. And it says touch others with its flame. And that's sort of what I was talking about the 2 wands, the 2 of stars, the 2 wands, the 2 flames, that, you know, that he uses his flame, his passion, his sexuality to touch others with divine love rather than lust and greed and power and control. It's the new paradigm, really. That is amazing. And then the third dragon for the third energy. Again, just this green energy of the earth coming in, you know, to talk about the union of the two energies is the emerald dragon. This is one of my favorites. It's about good fortune coming, emeralds being linked to abundance. And again, pink. Pink is a color, you guys. It's a thing right now. And for this energy, pink is going to be a color that we can use to send healing. The pink flame, the pink ray, we can use that to send healing out to this whole situation that's unfolding, you know, around planet Earth right now. And I think we'll continue to. That pink is going to be an energy that we can send to kind of like help soften it and help heal it and help nurture the healing and nurture the unconditional love. Brings healing and cosmic abundance. Good fortune is coming. Let your thoughts support your divine perfection. Align with your fifth dimensional blueprint. And so here we had all of this sort of these pentacles and the trees, right? And this very Mother Earth, you know, energy in the physical. And here it's like that energy of the physical being brought up to the 5D. So align with your fifth dimensional blueprint, and that it is going to be, that it is blessed, and that there's good fortune behind all of this, behind this important work, behind, you know, that there's good luck around all of this, that there are blessings around all of this. So 9, 8, 7, 9. Okay, beautiful. I wanted to get a message from Metatron, just one message from Metatron. And what I love about the energy of Metatron is that he doesn't pick sides, and he is very much kind of around that middle path of the non-duality. And it's a much, you know, it's very, very high level communication when it's comes from Metatron. And also Metatron is the angel, the archangel of the ascension, because he brings in the Metatron cube, or the Merkaba, which is about physical body ascension. And he's here to support Gaia through her ascension. So I just want to ask Metatron just for one message, please, because I don't think that he would, you know, he doesn't need to do one for the masculine, one for the feminine, one for both. It's just one message. Thank you, angels. Pink. Pink. The energy of pink is around all of this. He is self-love and nurture, and it is about that, because ultimately all of this is really about healing these core wounds that even from this lifetime, think about what could have been your core wound. Was it a father? Was it a mother? Was it, you know, most of us are now attuned to know what our core wounding is. I really feel that all of this is going back to core wounding from, like I said, when man descended to earth, and that there was a separation, and that we, you know, became beings who lived in a dualistic dimension. And we came here to experience that because it allowed for just tremendous soul growth. But that being said, going back to this like victim versus non-victim consciousness, again, for me, both are right. You tell me a story and it's about an experience that you had, and it sounds like you were a victim, and that's what you identify with, and yes, you were right. And then there's the other part that seeks empowerment and wants to really work through it, become empowered, heal, and transcend it, and therefore there's no more victim consciousness. And yes, you are right too, but it is about honoring both. But the bigger message here is about self-love from both sides. So where has the feminine, the feminine not been able to love herself? Where has she been exploiting herself? Where has she been not honestly communicating? Where has she been disempowering herself? And same thing for the masculine. Where has he done all of the same things? Well, this is what was expected of me, and I'm just so tired of it, and I'm, blah, 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 all of that. Well, it's about accountability, but self-love and nurturing. Pink, the seashell, the emotions, the heart, the high heart, that's the thymus, the high heart, unconditional love, unconditional love. It's okay, like I said, that not everyone will be graduating at the same time. That's okay. The more we step into this self-love of nurturing and loving ourselves, then the less any of this will have power over us. And as more information comes to light, because I really believe that we are going to see more and more of our heroes fall, and more scandals and more controversy, it's going to keep happening. And this doesn't mean it's all men. There are many women who are going to be called out as well, who are already being called out. That is their divine feminine wounding, their divine masculine wounding. Like I said, it's not gender specific at all. It's the energy. And so as this happens, as the 2020 vision keeps expanding, and we see more and more and more, just to hold this close, to hold it close, he's saying. Okay, you guys, I think that's gonna wrap this up. I think that this is a topic that I will come back to, and if anyone has, I'm sorry, there's just one of those boring bees, the really, really big bees, the big black ones, they just kind of like fly around and make noise, but they don't do anything. Flew in. So anyway, yeah, this was just a total whim for me to do this. I mean, I had been thinking about it throughout the day after I pulled these cards, so I just really want to thank the guides for being here, and thank the energy of Isis and Osiris and Horus for providing such a beautiful spread for the collective. I really, truly am so grateful and humbled, and thank you, Metatron, for that amazing confirmation for everybody. And thank you all for watching. If you like this, please feel free to subscribe and share, and I hope to see you all soon. Okay, take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.